Hey guys, so I'm going to make a video today about how to find missing legs of triangles using trigonometry. We are going to be using the calculator for this, so before I forget to tell you, you have to make sure your calculator is set to degrees. So there's two ways to measure angles, degrees and radians. Right now we are just working on degrees. So if you press the mode button right in the calculator, you'll see on the third row down here, see how it says radians or degrees? You're gonna go ahead and select degrees, okay? If you ever get some weird answers, then usually it's because you have your calculator in the wrong setting, okay? So especially on the online calculators, I know they're automatically set in radians, so you have to make sure you change it to degrees for this particular lesson, okay? So I want to find these missing legs. So I have an angle here. Instead of theta, they're putting 32 degrees, right? So this angle here is 32 degrees. And I want to find this missing leg. So I'm going to use trigonometry, right? So how do I know which one I'm going to use, though? Am I going to use sine, cosine, or tangent? Right? Let me write SOHCAHTOA down here. Okay? So, I'm going to use sine, cosine, or tangent. But how am I going to know which one to use? Well, it depends what sides I'm working with, right? So I have this angle here, right? I want to find this side, right, which is the opposite side, okay? My opposite side. And then this side is my adjacent side. So which trig function uses opposite and adjacent? Tangent. So that's how I know I'm going to use the tangent. Okay, sine's not going to help me, or cosine, because they need the hypotenuse and I don't have a hypotenuse. Okay, so that's how I know I'm going to use tangent. So I'm going to set it up like this. The tangent of 32 degrees equals, okay, opposite side is x over adjacent side is 13. And then we're just going to solve for x. This is a value in itself. You cannot pull that 32 away from the tangent. This is one value. If I put the tangent of 32 degrees in my calculator, I would get some sort of decimal, okay? So make sure that you never try to like pull that 32 away, okay? So the tangent of 32 equals x over 13, and then how do I solve for x? Well, I'm gonna multiply both sides by 13, right? This will cancel. So I get x equals whatever this is. So now we're going to put this in our calculator. All right, so make sure you're in degrees, and then I'm going to put 13 times the tangent, which, by the way, the button's right here, sine, cosine, tangent. 13 times the tangent of 32 degrees equals about 8.123. So about 8.123. So that means that this missing leg, okay, is 8.123 units long. Okay, simple enough. All right, so this next one. Now what am I going to use here? I have this angle here, okay? I don't have an opposite side this time. The only sides I'm working with is my adjacent side, and I want to find my hypotenuse. So which one is adjacent and hypotenuse? That is cosine, adjacent hypotenuse. So that's how I know I'm going to use cosine. All right, so I have the cosine of 37 degrees equals, right, if I'm on this angle here, my adjacent is 11 over my hypotenuse. Now, how do I solve here? The reason I showed you both, you'll notice this one had my x at the top, at the numerator. This one has my x in the denominator. So I want to make sure you know how to solve in both situations. So what do I do when my x is in the denominator? I'll tell you the shortcut, but then I'll show you why. All you're going to do is you're going to wind up having 11 divided by the cosine of 37 degrees. You're going to wind up just putting this here, and I'll show you why. How would I do this algebraically? First, I would multiply both sides by x, right? Then this would cancel, and I would get x times the cosine of 37 degrees equals 11, right? And then how would I solve for x? I would divide both sides by the cosine of 37 degrees right? And then this would cancel, and I would get 11, x equals, 11 over cosine 37 degrees, right? So, which is what I told you in the beginning. So whenever x is on the bottom, it winds up just being the numerator over whatever. This just winds up coming down here, okay? So now I have to put this in my calculator. 11 divided by the cosine of 37 degrees. So I'm going to go here, 11 divided by cosine 37 degrees, enter, and about 13.77. So this is about 13.77. Okay, so that means that this leg is about 13.77, which makes sense, right? Because that should be longer than the other leg. It's hypotenuse. All right, so I'm going to post an assignment that has you practicing to solve for missing legs. Usually you're just going to use sine, cosine, and tangent. That's all you're going to pretty much need. You'll notice there's not even buttons for the other three. You would just have to do 1 over, for cosecant, you'd have to do 1 over the sine of whatever. But we won't have to worry about that right now. Okay, have a great day.